Alright y'all, it is like 5 days later. I have some time right now and I wanted to go ahead and finish the video. So moving on to the mental and emotional parts of postpartum. This is actually the part that I really want to talk about. I'm not sure that a lot of people discuss this in detail. I think that a lot of times when we see people have children, we see like the posts of the beautiful kids, and of course there's so much love and so much joy in the postpartum experience. It's like it's amazing to see this life that you've been blessed with, been blessed to create and bring into the world, and it's so amazing. Not taking away from that at all, but I think that the emotional, mental health part of postpartum is not really talked about in depth. So I'm going to share my experience. And this is from my experience right now after my second child. I'll chime in a few times to talk about how it is the same or different from after having my first child. So the beginning is hard in my experience. So for me, the very beginning spikes my anxiety overall. When I had Autumn, I was in shock really about how big of a life change it was. And it's one of those things that I feel like you cannot know until you go through it. So you can have people tell you about it, like if you are an expectant mother or want to be an expectant mother at some point in your life and you're watching this video, it's good, I think, to hear about other people's experiences, but it really is something that you can't really know until you go through it. So I think it's very good to listen to other people's experiences, but just know yours will be unique. Maybe a lot of this you'll be able to relate to, but some of it will be just particular to you. So you may get anxiety like I have. You may experience just baby blues and then it kind of dwindles away and you feel a lot better. You may experience actual postpartum depression. So there's an array of things that could happen. So for me, my anxiety is due to like shock again this time, just because of how different it is to go from one child to two children. For me, hearing two children cry at the same time is very like stimulating. It just kind of it's something that I'm going to have to allow to become the new normal in my life. So there's a shock there going from one to two. And the pressure of the responsibility, the dependability, the fragility of these tiny humans, and my responsibility to keep them safe, to keep them fed and happy and healthy. When I think about that as a whole, sometimes it triggers me a little bit. I'm honored to do it for them, and I know better than to really get caught up into like, thinking about the whole task. Like, I'm built for this. God gave me these children. I can do this. Those things I know are the logical truth. But emotionally, sometimes there are moments where it feels extremely overwhelming. And that's just the honest truth for me. Breastfeeding is hard at the beginning. I could do a totally different separate video on breastfeeding. It can feel very lonely. And also for me, being away from my daughter. So she's almost 2 years old. My daughter Autumn, she's 21 months old, almost 22 months old. She will be 2 in June, basically. And so for the majority of the last 2 years, it's just been me and her. Like, I mean, obviously her dad and, my family and all of that stuff. Our family, chimes in and helps out every now and then as well. But it's been mama and my daughter this whole time. So having help has been so amazing. My husband was home for a few weeks, and now my mother-in-law is here. Next week my mother will be here. And so they're helping me out And a lot of that has to do with spending a lot of time with Autumn in the mornings, especially for me. That's how the setup is right now, while I catch up on some sleep and feed Avery. And Avery, is a newborn, so right now it takes a long time to do an actual feeding, like an hour basically, full for a full feeding. So that time being spent away from my daughter, like not seeing her until her nap time, or not seeing her until her lunchtime, or not seeing her till after her nap, it really has been a big change. And it was the source of a lot of tears for the first couple of weeks. What has helped me with that is that I realize that this is temporary, and as soon as I really get back into the swing of things, I'll be with both of them all the time. And that this is just a part of our growing relationship, our growing family. And she's still my baby, but she's also becoming a bigger girl. She's probably going to start a little bit of daycare or school in some form or fashion, just like half a day in the fall. So this is just the start of our changing, ever growing, ever expanding relationship. So that's the best way to look at that. In comparison, I had gotten to a very smooth, scheduled lifestyle with my daughter. One nap, what time she's going to wake up, what time she's going to go to bed, a general range of when she's going to wake up, when she's going to take her nap, what she eats. She's not depending on me to eat from my body or anything like that. So going back to having a precious little one who is neither of those things, not on a schedule at all yet, fully dependent on me for sustenance and eating, because I'm choosing to breastfeed. Even though I've done it before, it's still a big change. The angle might have changed a little bit because the camera cut off. Y'all, we're getting through this. I was saying that the difference this time is that I know that the full dependency and all of that stuff is temporary, and so it does allow me to kind of lean in a little bit to enjoy this time a little bit more, even though it is a particularly hard time for me personally. So nights give me anxiety because of that unknown, right? There's no okay, I know that he's going to sleep for this long or anything. No, I don't even lay down very comfortably. I'm kind of afraid to be too comfortable. I have the monitor for Autumn on one side, and I've got the baby here on the other side. I'm listening to both at the same time, but getting rest, but not getting rest, not knowing when Avery is going to wake up. All the unknown is what kind of induces my anxiety a little bit. And then I have guilt and mixed emotions about feeling overwhelmed during this time because I wouldn't trade it, and I love my children. And the beginning is just hard for me, and that's okay. So if you find it to be hard as well, that's okay. Find your coping mechanisms, reach out, talk to people. I'm going to talk right now about the things that really have helped me. So things that have helped with the mental and emotional part is that my daughter is adjusting very well, and she's growing beautifully. So she's not having any adjusting pains so far. She's been doing very well. She is pretty rough, so that is triggering for me as well. I have to keep a separation between her and the baby right now because she's just very rough. She thinks that he's like a toy or something like that, so she's very rough. Another thing that helps me is that I understand that this is temporary this time. The first time I was like, oh my gosh, is this what having a baby is like how long is it going to be like this? Along with all the love and everything that I was feeling, I was just green and new at it, you know what I mean? So I wasn't sure, even though people would always tell me it gets better. That was actually the best thing that I could hear personally is that it gets better, and it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like, both things helped me a lot the first time, and I'm able to tell myself that now, but I also love to hear it from friends as well. Another thing that helps me is that I just feel so blessed, so I try to lean into feeling just so blessed to have these 2 children. I've had a difficult journey to motherhood. I had 2 miscarriages before I had Autumn, and now we have 2 children. Like, you know, it's just such a huge blessing, and when I think about that, it really does help me. And Avery is a pretty easygoing newborn, you know, and I know that because Autumn was, it's not that she wasn't easygoing. She was a very sweet baby, and she smiled and laughed all the time and stuff, just like she does now. But she was a lot more temperamental, a lot more demanding, a lot less like go with the flow. She was very much like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. So Avery so far is a lot more easygoing, and that really is really so helpful. And then my husband's support and understanding. So this time around, we are just partners and just loving and supporting each other, and so happy to be building our family. The first time around, we both just didn't really know what to expect, and it kind of affected our relationship, not in the best way. But this time, it's just, you know, we're so glad to have these 2 kids, and just nothing but love and support, and his love and support means everything to me, and it has been so helpful. Okay, so here are some things that make me feel good, feel better, you know, feel less alone, feel less, and remind me basically that there is still life going on outside of how demanding this time period is in my life. So talking to friends, friends in general, just laughing and talking to friends, but definitely also talking to friends who have experienced what I'm going through now, who know me and my personality, who I can be open and honest with, and who are open and honest back with me. It is so helpful to talk to people who have gone through this before, and just friends and family in general. I'm thinking about what we have to look forward to as a family, so our family trips and all these different things that we've been looking forward to with having 2 children. That makes me feel really good, makes me feel better. Knowing that this time will pass, as it did with Autumn, and seeing Autumn adjust well, my husband's help, some of these I've already mentioned. Zoning out when I can, so watching something on YouTube, or just going for a ride by myself, or a quick walk by myself, and just being just me in those moments. So a little bit of alone time, zoning out. Spending time with God, even though I need to do so much more of that. Starbucks runs by myself or with Autumn. Just getting in the car and driving, whether it's me by myself or with my girl. It's really good. Eating candy and drinking cold water is a wonderful pastime for me. And I love it. Alright, I'm going to try to hurry and finish. Doing this is one thing. So filming and just remembering that I have goals, and that I will one day, you know, find my flow with my 2 kiddos, and I just feel so grateful to have them. And just like I found my flow with Autumn, I know that I'll find my flow with my 2. And so I want to be, you know, I don't want to lose time. I still want to have that momentum on trying to reach the goals that I have for myself. So this helps me a lot, filming, remembering that I'm still who I was before this big life change. So I understand that this is just a level that's going to make me more dynamic, like having a second child now, a mom of 2 is just going to make me more dynamic. I'm still myself, and I still have my goals. yeah, and a lot of the reasons why I want to do this is so that I can be with them and, you know, live the family life that I have, you know, in my heart and in my mind. Also stretching, yoga, and just wellness in general, whatever I can do toward wellness in general right now, mind, body, spirit. I enjoy those things, and I would like to incorporate them more and more as I, you know, get into the swing of being a mom of two. And then staying on top of keeping areas in my house clean. I know that a lot of times people say, oh, get somebody else to do the housework can wait, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously if you have to choose, then yes, you know, housework can wait. And actually my house is not deep cleaned like it usually would be by now, and that's okay. But keeping it tidy, like staying on top of keeping the common areas clean, doing laundry daily, which is a habit that I had started during my pregnancy, which I just love. So staying on top of doing a load or two of laundry every single day, and keeping the kitchen clean and all that stuff, keeping the surroundings tidy, so that my mental, it really helps my mental health. If you're the same, then I suggest, you know, just coming up with some quick plan to just spend maybe like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 15 minutes a day doing those things. Okay, and then last but not least, I want to talk about how I'm becoming different as a mom. The first thing is I don't have any more superwoman complex. I realize that what I do is a lot and enough, and that asking for help in the ways that I need it is just necessary. Like, it doesn't make me any less, you know, of my kid's mom. It doesn't make me any less of okay, you guys, so the camera overheated, so I'm just gonna finish here on the phone just so that I can be sure to get this video out to you guys. I really want to finish this for you. So I left off on not having the superwoman complex anymore. So I do not try to do it all. I do the most important things, and then everything else can fall into place afterward. So it helps me, you know, to ask for help if and when I need it. And last but not least, another way that I'm becoming different as a mom now that I am journeying into being a mom of two, or that I have started the journey of being a mom of two, is that I just recognize that having my two children and being a part of my family with my husband is probably the biggest push that is making me become who I actually am, like who I was created to be. So like, to follow my dreams is giving me so much of a push to follow my dreams, even though this is something that I've wanted for like 15 years. But it's not now until I had my first child and now my second child that I'm really moving into, you know, follow those dreams, live your life as an example for these children, live your life, you know, for yourself, because you're giving so much to your family. You know, pursue your dreams because it's something that you want for yourself. They really are just making me a better person. So even with the difficulties here in the beginning, I do want to give that encouraging word that in the end, it just increases your level of it just levels you up, you know, to also become a mom. So if you are an expectant mom, if you are going to be having your second child, if that's what led you here to this video, just know, like, if you're like me, the beginning is tough, and that's okay. I think the beginning is tough for most of us, and that's okay. But in the end, I do believe that this really is just making us the humans that we were created to be. More dynamic, more wonderful, more love to give, more love to receive. So, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this postpartum update. Let me know if you have any questions below, and be sure to check the description box because I will be adding anything there that I feel like I missed, but I think that this video has covered mostly everything. But ask me any questions below if you feel like you want to know anything else, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.